All right, fourth graders, you are getting ready to take your math test tomorrow. You should have already completed as much of this paper as you can before you come here and start checking over your work with me. And we'll take a quick look at these problems, and then hopefully you are all set to take your test tomorrow on your next e-learning day. So let's take a look at number 1. We've got football players come out of the tunnel. Their jerseys have the number pattern shown below. They follow the rule add 4. 12, 16, 20. What number belongs on the front of the blank jersey? If the number is add 4, we're going to do plus 4. 20 plus 4 is 24, so I might say 24 because 20 plus 4 equals 24. What are two features of the pattern? So what can we say about the numbers in this pattern? I noticed that, first of all, the numbers are even, and they are what are called multiples of 4 because they're counting up by 4 every time. So those are just two examples from what you might have for that problem. All right, number 2. 1 dozen eggs is 12 eggs. 2 dozen eggs is 24 eggs. The rule for this pattern is multiply by 12. Draw lines to connect the number of dozens with the number of eggs. Okay, well, I'm going to look for my easiest one first, times 10. I know the times 10 trick. If I'm multiplying by 10, I could just put a 0 at the end of the number. And so if 1 is 12, when I multiply by 10, that's going to get me 120 because I'm just adding a 0 again at the end. So that gets me to that one. I notice 5 is half of 10, or I know that 5 times 12 is 60. And if 5 is half of 10, then half of 120 would be 60. So I can connect those two together. Looking at my options here, 14 dozen, well, that's the biggest number over here. It would make sense that it goes with the biggest number over here. I could also do the multiplying to get me to make sure that that is correct. But 14 dozen is going to go with 168. And that leaves 8 dozen to go with 96. So that is our answer to number 2. Okay. Number 3. Use the multiply by 6 to complete the pattern, continue the pattern. So when we're talking about multiplying by 6, it's going from the top number down to the bottom number. Because 3 times 6 is 18, 5 times 6 is 30, 7 times 6 is 42, and that will give me 9 times 6 equals 54. So the answer for number 3 is 54. Okay. Number 4. Let's look at which one of these is true. The number of legs in the table will always be even. It looks like that's true. The number of grasshoppers will always be even. No, the number of grasshoppers is all odd right now. The number of grasshoppers must be odd to follow this rule. No, we can still do multiply by 6 if there's 2 grasshoppers or 4 grasshoppers. So it's not that one. So I can get rid of that one, and I can get rid of that one. The number of legs on grasshoppers will be less than the number of grasshoppers. No, the number of legs is always more than the number of grasshoppers. So even though my first instinct was to pick A, I went through and I made sure that I looked at all those other answer choices just to be sure that A is the correct answer. Okay, number 5. Again, looking at that pattern in exercise number 3, the number of legs on a grasshopper is a blank of the number of grasshoppers. Is it a multiple or a factor? Factors are smaller, multiples are larger. The number of legs, is it smaller or bigger? Well, it's bigger, so in this case, we have multiple. And that should leave us with factor. For the second one, let's read it and make sure it makes sense. The number of grasshoppers is a factor of the number of legs on the grasshopper. Yes, that means we can divide by the number of legs and get that. So in other words, 54 divided by 6 is 9. That's true. So therefore, that is true. Okay? All right. Number 6. Number 6 is actually a problem on your test that we are going to skip over. But if you are interested, or if you did it as part of your practice, we are dividing by 3 every time. So we have 240. 3 divided by 3 should be 81. We're only using each number once, so I'm going to go ahead and cross those out. Now I have 81 divided by 3, and that should be 27. 27 divided by 3 is 9. And then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So some of you might need to write a little bit more work out than I did, but that is what I got for my answer on that problem. All right, we're going to continue on to the back, number 7. The rule for the repeating pattern is 5, 7, 2, 8. Write the next 3 numbers in the pattern. All right, let's do that. 5, 7, 2, 8. 5, 7, 2, 8. 5, 7, 2, 8 should be those numbers in the pattern there. Okay? Then we have to figure out the 25th number in the pattern. Okay, so we use division to do this. We need to know what number they want us to divide by. So they want us the 25th number. So we're going to put that inside of our division problem. We put out here how many numbers are in the pattern before it repeats. It repeats every 4 numbers, so we are going to divide by 4. How many 4s can I take out of 25? I can take 6 groups with 1 left over. Let me write the work out. That is what I would do to get my remainder. What my remainder tells me is which number in the pattern follows what they're asking us. So I can take 6 full groups of 4 plus 1 of the next group. What is the first number in the next group? The first number in the next group is 5. Okay? For my explanation, I believe this number sentence really explains my answer very well. And so for my final answer there, I'm just going to put 5. Claire wrote different number patterns for the rule subtract 5. Which patterns could she have written? Let's see. Let's see if they go down by 5. 27 minus 5 is 22. Minus 5 is 17. That one looks like it works. I don't see anything wrong with that pattern at all. Okay, looking for subtract 5 again. 5 minus 5 is 10. Not the last time I checked, that's 5 plus 5, right? So this is an adding pattern, not a subtraction pattern, and so we're going to say no. Okay, let's look at this one. 55 minus 5 is 50. That's good. 50 minus 5 is 35. No, 50 minus 15 is 35. This one's a rule breaker, and so we have to put no. Okay, last one in number 8. 100 minus 5 is 95, minus 5 is 90, minus 5 is 85, minus 5 is 80. That one works the whole way through the pattern. So it should go yes, no, no, and then yes. Okay? All right, number 9. Select all the true statements. The rule is circle, heart, triangle. Circle, heart, triangle. So let's see if they're true. The next shape in the repeating pattern is circle. So what comes after triangle? After triangle is circle. That one is true. Circle only repeats twice in the repeating pattern. I do not think that is true because we can keep repeating circle on and on and on and on. The 10th shape in the repeating pattern is the heart. Well, we have to do 10 divided by 3. That gets me a 3 with a 1 left over is a remainder. And that means that actually the 10th shape is going to be the first thing in the pattern, which is a circle. So this is not true. The 12th shape in the repeating pattern is the triangle. We're going to do 12 divided by 3. It goes in perfectly. There's no remainders. So that means there's no more extras of anything left. It's 4 full groups. What was the last thing in that 4th full group? That was a triangle, so this is true. And the circle is the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, etc. That means and on and on and on. Is that true? It's 1st, it's 4th, it was 7th. It's just doing +3 every time, and so that is true also. So there is my answer to number 9. Number 10. The table shows the different number of teams formed by different numbers of players. The rule is divide by 8. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. I love to write the rule in my charts. Looks like there's my unknown. There's what I have to figure out. How many teams can be formed with 40 players? Well, 40 divided by 8 is the number of teams. T is for teams. And that is 5. A is my answer. Because 40 divided by 8 is 5. Okay, number 11. Marcus lives on a street where all of the house numbers are multiples of 9. If the first number on the street is 9, what are the next 3 possible house numbers? Okay, so multiples of 9 means we're going to do +9 every time. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. 27 plus 9 is 36. And our explanation is that the number goes up 9 each time. Okay, number 12. The rule is subtract 7. What are the next 3 numbers in the pattern? And then we're going to describe features of the pattern. So 35, and we need the next 3 numbers. 35 minus 7 should get me 28. Minus 7 is 21. Minus 7 is 14. Okay, what are the features? They are multiples of 7. What else are the features? It seems to be going even, odd, even, odd, even, odd. So that would be a feature of this pattern too. So it goes even number, and then odd number. Okay, that brings us to the end of our review. Don't forget, in your math book, you also have available to you 759 and 760. Those are the green-sided papers that we often take home to use in class, to use at home for extra practice before we take our tests. So, if you feel like you need more practice today, grab those green papers. Otherwise, be ready for your test on your next e-learning day. All right, thanks for following along.